Stop. Before you put anything inside your FHSA, watch this first. Because most people make the same mistake. They open the account, they feel good about it, and then they just leave it sitting in cash. Or worse, they panic buy something without knowing if it's right for them. The answer to what do I buy is not one ETF. It's one question. And once you know the answer to that one question, everything else is obvious.
And later in this video, I'll show you the exact $500 mistake I made by ignoring it.
Let's get into it. But first, quick disclaimer. Everything in this video is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own research or speak with a licensed financial professional before making any investment decisions.
Can we do a really quick recap on what the FHSA is?
Sure. The First Home Savings Account. It's a registered account for first-time home buyers in Canada. You can put in up to $8,000 a year, $40,000 lifetime. Contributions are tax deductible, like an RRSP. And when you pull the money out to buy a home, it's tax-free, like a TFSA. It is genuinely one of the best accounts the government has ever created.
Okay, so I have one. I put money in. Now, what do I actually buy?
That depends on one thing. When do you think you're buying a home?
Honestly, I don't really know.
Exactly. And that's where most people get stuck. The FHSA is not a set-it-and-forget-it account. It's not like your TFSA where you're investing for 30 years. You have a goal. That goal has a timeline, and your timeline decides everything. Here's how I think about it. 3 buckets.
Okay, and each bucket has a different answer?
Completely different answer. Because in the short bucket, you cannot afford to lose money right before you need it. In the long bucket, you can handle volatility because time is on your side.
That makes sense. Tell me about each one.
If you're buying within 3 years, do not touch the stock market. I know that sounds boring, but hear me out. The market can drop 20, 30, even 40%. And if that happens the year before you need your down payment, you are stuck. You either sell at a loss or you delay buying. Neither is great.
So, what do you actually buy?
Something like CASH.TO or any high-interest savings ETF. Right now, those are paying around 2.3% annually. It's not flashy, but you know exactly what you're getting. Your money grows. It doesn't drop. And it's there when you need it.
CASH.TO. That's the ticker on the Toronto Stock Exchange?
Exactly. You buy it just like a stock or an ETF through any broker. Simple, safe, and pays you while you wait. Now, if you're in the 3 to 5 year range, you have a bit more flexibility. You can take on some market exposure, but you still want to be cautious.
So, somewhere in between?
Exactly. Something like XGRO or XBAL. XGRO is 80% stocks, 20% bonds. XBAL is 60% stocks, 40% bonds. The bonds act as a cushion. They reduce how much the portfolio swings.
So, if the market crashes, you don't lose as much?
Right. You might drop 15% instead of 30%. Still painful, but more survivable if you have a few years to recover. The trade-off is, in a bull market, you also grow a little slower.
And which one? XGRO or XBAL? How do you pick?
Think about how close you are to that 3-year mark. Closer to 3, lean toward XBAL. More like 5, XGRO is fine. And anywhere in this bucket, a mix of CASH.TO and XGRO also works well.
What about ZBAL or XGRO? Are those the same thing?
Same concept, different provider. ZBAL mirrors XBAL 60-40. ZGRO mirrors XGRO 80-20. Both are totally fine. iShares and BMO are both reputable. Don't overthink the brand. Pick one and stay consistent. Bucket 3, 5 years or more. Or you genuinely have no idea when you're buying. This is the easy one.
XEQT?
Yes, 100% global equities. Low fee, fully diversified. You're not trying to time the market, you're just letting it grow. If the market drops 30%, you don't panic because you have time.
What's the fee on XEQT?
0.20% annually. So on a $10,000 portfolio, you're paying about $20 a year. That's it. No advisor fees on top of that if you're using a discount broker like Wealthsimple or Questrade. That low fee is a huge reason it compounds so well over time.
And what if I'm in bucket 3, but I'm not totally sure about the home buying part?
Honestly, XEQT is still fine. Here's why. If you never buy a home, you can transfer your FHSA to your RRSP with no tax hit. So your money keeps growing. You're not locked in.
We covered that in our FHSA video. So even if your plans change, it doesn't cost you.
Exactly. Your money keeps growing either way. You're not locked in just because you opened the account. Here's the thing I want you to really take away from this video. The mistake isn't always picking a bad ETF. The mistake is picking an ETF without knowing what bucket you're in.
Actually, someone on Instagram was talking about ZRE, high dividend yield. I thought free money every month, so I bought $500 worth. Didn't even think about whether it fit my FHSA.
And that's exactly how it happens. ZRE is a Canadian real estate ETF. It does pay a high distribution, that part is real. But high yield doesn't mean low risk. REITs are sensitive to interest rates and can drop significantly. That income disappears fast if the price tanks underneath you. It's a sector ETF. It's concentrated in one part of the market. It can drop significantly and stay down for a long time. That's not what you want inside an account you're using for a home purchase.
So the high yield was actually the trap.
Exactly. Your FHSA is not a place to chase yield. It's a place to protect and grow a down payment. Those are two completely different goals, and most people don't realize that until it's too late.
Yeah, I'm going to sell it and move into XBAL.
That makes more sense, as long as your timeline fits the medium bucket. XBAL is BMO's version of XBAL. Same concept, 60% stocks, 40% bonds. We talked about XBAL earlier. XBAL just does the same thing under a different brand. Either one works. Just make sure you actually know when you're planning to buy. Because if it's less than 3 years, even XBAL might be too aggressive.
Figure out your timeline first, then pick your ETF.
Exactly. And I've seen the other mistake too. People leave everything in cash for 5 or 6 years because they're too nervous to invest at all. That's also a problem. Inflation is quietly eating that cash every single day. So there's a wrong answer on both ends.
How do you know if you're being too conservative?
If your timeline is 3 years or more and you're 100% in CASH.TO, you're probably leaving money on the table. Not a disaster, but you could be doing better. Even moving to XBAL adds growth potential with still a reasonable cushion. The goal is always to match the risk level to the timeline. Not zero risk, not maximum risk. The right risk for where you actually are. Let's recap fast. Buying within 3 years. CASH.TO or a HISA ETF. Keep it safe. 3 to 5 years. XGRO or XBAL. Some growth, some cushion. 5+ years or unsure. XEQT. Full global equities. Let it ride.
And if I'm on the edge between buckets?
Go conservative. It's much easier to move money into more risk later. It's much harder to recover a down payment that got cut in half.
And the one thing to do before any of this?
Know your timeline. That's the whole framework. Once you know that, everything else is just execution.
That's really clear. I feel like I actually know what to do now.
That's the goal. The FHSA is an incredible tool, but it works best when you match it to your actual situation. Take 5 minutes, figure out your bucket, then act accordingly.
If you haven't opened your FHSA yet, we have a full video on that, linked right here.
And if you want to understand how CASH.TO compares to a GIC, we actually have a full video on that. Depending on your exact timeline, a GIC might actually be the safer choice. I'll link that in the description below.
And if you found this helpful, subscribe. We post new videos every week.
See you in the next one.